Good morning, everybody. How are you doing today? I'm excited. I've still got this cold, which is a bit annoying, so apologies. Oh, what's that hanging off my camera? Apologies right from the start for sniffing and coughing again. After I did that potato harvest, it was 2 days ago now, the plan was to come back the following day to do the today's harvest. But oh my goodness, the next day I felt even worse. One has to be sensible. So I stayed at home, worked from home. That's fine. But you know what? Ain't nothing keeping me away from this harvest today. I can't wait. Just before we go into the garden and start the harvest, well, a couple of things. Firstly, I need to learn some numbers. I need to learn the rest of the rhyme. You know the one, there's tons of aeroplanes today. I've literally gone to turn the camera on about 3 times already and stopped because of aeroplanes. Never mind. You know the rhyme for the number of magpies? 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy. Come on everybody, join in. 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret never to be told. What is it for 8? Because I was literally walking down the a central path, getting closer to my plot, and suddenly a flock. Oh, and what's the collective noun for magpies? Is it a steal of magpies? A twinkly object of magpies? Yeah, 8. 8 of them all lifted off at once. It's always around this time of year we start to, well, at least I do in my garden, start to see way more magpies than usual. There are a pair that I see almost every time I visit the garden. So when I'm sitting outside the shed here, in front of me, it's not my garden's the next one over, but these 2 plots in front of me, yeah, there's a pair of magpies that are always around. They're ground feeders, so I love watching them just hop. They're kind of ungainly the way they hop. They look too heavy to hop. But yeah, they'll hop around, you know, pecking at any bare bits of soil. So of course at this time of year, as folk are harvesting and emptying their beds, we're starting to see more and more bare beds. So of course it makes sense that they're swooping down to have a good old rummage and peck around in the top of the soil. But yeah, I don't know what it is for 8 magpies. It really felt like autumn arriving here today as well, because not only the sight of all the magpies, but the temperature. It's only about 10 degrees centigrade this morning, which is about 50 Fahrenheit. So we've gone from the mid-high teens of the last few days. Oh, suddenly it's chilly. Really heavy dew on the ground. It's on everything actually, not just the ground. So there's that kind of dampness, the smell of damp earth, the chill in the air. Yeah, we're definitely well into autumn now. And that's one of the reasons I want to get on with the harvest today. The squash harvest, of course. I was talking about sort of nighttime temperatures the other day. Excuse me, I'm going to have some water. And our nighttime temperatures are now firmly in single digits, around sort of 7, 8, 9 degrees. It looks like they're going to hold at that for another couple of weeks at least. I mean, well, the forecast I use online, it's the Met Office on the BBC website. It sort of only gives you 2 weeks forecast. But the chances are we are going to start to possibly get down to a bit of frost soon, maybe. And I don't want to be caught out by, you know, leaving the squash a few more days and then being in a position where I can't get to the garden for whatever reason. And that night we get a frost and, you know, my produce gets damaged. So yeah, today's the day. Now, I haven't had a proper look at any of the squash yet. I mean, obviously, I've been spying them every time I'm in the garden and I'm going around, especially see if I'm strimming or doing my edge trimming. I'm looking in the beds, seeing where they are. So I've kind of clocked most of them, but I haven't had a close-up look at, for example, their stalks. So just before we go out there, I've got this one it's the perfect demonstration, because this is the one that it was right at the end of one of the vines that was going towards the cold frame. Well, not right at the end, but it was it was on the path heading towards the cold frame. So it's one of the last squash that has been produced this year, because it was towards the end of that vine. So it's quite little and it's a bit immature, which is why it's a perfect example in a way to show you in terms of harvesting. When folks say, when should I harvest? To be honest, if I lived in a warmer climate, I mean, it's, you know, we're warm here. I'm considered to be zone 9A, I think, in terms of temperatures. It's not so much about the heat, but about the frost. If we weren't due a frost if I could guarantee no frost for another 4 weeks, I would be leaving these squash alone. Picking them at this stage. So what I'm looking for when I'm harvesting is, I want a good, tough skin. Just like with the potatoes, this is its storage packet now. And they will store for, I mean, I've had squash store for over a year. When I've had a really, really good harvest, I've had them, 14 months later even. Put it this way, I've had harvests where I'm still eating last year's harvest when the next year's harvest comes in, if they've got a well-cured skin. They need time on the vine to do that, to ripen and to toughen up. So one of the things you can do, it's the thumbnail test. If I push, I don't know if you could hear that, but can you see how my thumbnail, it's broken the skin? Don't worry, I'll be using this one up pronto. That's why it's a perfect demonstration. So my thumbnail has broken through the skin with not too much effort. That skin is nowhere near ready for sort of long-term storage. So any that are like this, I would be really, really, really careful with, really precious with. I have in the past sat the unripe ones in my south-facing window, and they will eventually, I mean, I've put away squash that are green in October, come to use them in January and they're orange. They will slowly ripen. But yeah, by doing that, it just gives that skin time to really, really toughen up. Any that I inadvertently damage, of course, like anything, I'll just use straight away. I'll either use it straight away or get it chopped up and frozen. You can either chop it and roast it first and freeze it roasted. You could, for example, you could chop it up, roast it, puree it, blend it down and then freeze it. Because once it's blended down, way less space taken up in the freezer. Ideally though, I don't want that to happen to any of them. And the other thing, apart from the flesh, the thumbnail test, you'll often hear people talking about, can you see the stalk on that one is really still quite green? And there's a little bit, it's hard to describe. Is there any give in it? I can feel that there's still sort of life and moisture in there, if you like. Ideally, the stage we'd want is that this will have gone brown, and you can actually feel it. It becomes really quite dry. People talk about it being cork-like once they get corky. But whatever stage, I can hear someone over there. Whatever stage it's at, whether it's green like this or brown and corky. One of the things that's really, really important to bear in mind as you're doing the harvest is to keep a good chunk of stalk attached to your squash for storing, because underneath the stalk I'm going to show you on this one because I'm going to use this tonight. Can I snap it off? When they're dry and woody, they snap off much more easily. But now, can you see in the top there where I've made that wound? That will start to rot. We've made, basically, by doing this, I've broken the seal of the package so microbes can get in and start that rotting, decaying process. So again, it's sticky, it's weeping on me. I'm not worried for this one because, oh look, it's dripping out. I'm going to use it tonight. So, excuse me. So ideally we harvest them when the skins are nice and tough and when that stalk is brown and woody. However, if there's a danger of frost coming, don't wait, get them gathered in, and then once we've done the gathering, I'll come and talk about how I store them. We'll come and have a sit at the shed. I'll do my annual arrangement on the table and we can talk about storage then. Oh, before we go, how many? Should we have a guesstimate? I am going to guess across all of them. Some are really little, some are really big. I'm going to guess 25. 25 would be one a fortnight, but of course some of them are whoppers. So one of the whoppers would do me for 4 weeks. But yeah, I'm going to guess 25. If I get more than that, I'll be really, really chuffed. Shut up, Vivi. Get harvesting. Come on. Oh, there's hardly any light today. Crikey. I'm going to start in this little bed. This was my spares. I had 2 spare plants. Oh my goodness, the aeroplanes. I had a spare black futsu and a spare sweet dumpling. And it was these little plants that, when I came back from my absence after having the pox, it's just gone everywhere. It was a delight, an absolute delight. I tell you what's also a delight. Oh, sorry, hang on a sec. What's also a delight is any harvest that involves the wheelbarrow. That's always a good sign to me. I want to start counting now. I feel a bit pirate again today. Arr! Arr! Oh, and hello, arr, to Hannah's little boy. Apparently Hannah's little boy was enjoying the pirate arrs the other day. But they make me cough. Okay, so let's rattle through these, and then in the next bed over, where they're mostly climbing, they're really, really little, so I might not show you those until I've picked them, otherwise we'll be here all day. No, well, we can be here all day, can't we? We're not in a hurry, are we? No, let's enjoy it. Yeah, it's definitely a moment to savour, isn't it? Because let's face it, as we head into winter, there's going to be less and less time out here. So these days that we get now, yeah, let's enjoy them. Let's make the most of them and not hurry. Is that it from this bed? There's about 3 more than I was expecting from this bed. It's looking good. Right, let me take you over to the next bed though. Whoopla. Oh, the sun's just starting to come out. Oh, it's warm. How lovely. These are the two Muscade de Provence, and see the difference in colour. This one has developed a fair bit later. This is the one that went all around the houses. This one came quite early, and you can see how it's really started to ripen and turn colour where it's had a bit of sun. Likewise, I can show you that with the black futsus. Let's go over the other side. So these are two black futsus. This one, the green one, this was one of the ones that was growing horizontally on the floor and was covered with a lot of foliage. This one is one that was in the teepee and, well, had less foliage because where it was tied, the foliage flopped back down to the ground while I was away, so it was exposed. So you can see it's quite a big difference, isn't it, with that extra bit of sun exposure. So pop those in, and another and another and another. Right, let me finish this bed and then we'll go and have a look in the butternuts and rouge vif de Tombe bed. Oh, Dinky. Dinky, Dinky. Hello, little Dinky Dot. Come back for the rouge at the end. Oh. Full-term neonate. Preemie. Oh. Release the squash. Hoopla. It's twins. Core. Okay, and so on. We need to come around the other side now. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's so heavy. Oh. The obligatory harvest shot. There's still one out there. There wasn't room for it on the barrow. Oh, come on, let's get this lot parked. Crikey, I can't push it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. How utterly beautiful and happy making is this site. Oh, it's just, you know, it never ever fails to excite me, bring me joy, make me so happy. The colours, the shapes, the textures, the food, it's beautiful. I love it. I'm just going to reposition you all for a second because the sun's right in my eyes suddenly, but I wanted you to see this in full light because it's so beautiful. Actually, you know what I'll do first of all? I'm going to just point out the different varieties so you can see how they look now they've grown. And then a quick little chat. I've got to get these all cleaned and stored. Oh, the sun is so bright suddenly, it's gorgeous. Just look at them glowing. Beautiful shadow issues though. Okay, so we've got over here, this is bog standard butternuts. This is Waltham butternut. And this is from 8 plants. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14... 15 from 8 plants, so it's almost 2 per plant. Oh, but no, I lost one of my plants completely, didn't I, to the slugs. So it's from 7 plants. So yeah, 2 per vine. Happy with that. On the back, that's the gorgeous picture of autumn, isn't it? That's the Rouge Vif de Tombe. And they were all supposed to be Rouge Vif de Tombe, but you can see the two underneath are cream. Don't know what they are. I'll enjoy scoffing them. And then these, the 2 bigger ones here, these are the Muscat de Provence. I did have a third one, but it got attacked when it was still quite young and the skin was obviously quite tender, and so that just completely rotted. Then here, this little pile in various stages. This is the black futsu, and you can see like some are really still quite dark green, others have gone orange. Right in front, that's the Jack Be Little. Next to them, Delicata. I love these. These are perfect for one person. Slice it down the middle, roast it, giving a topping of some sort. Perfect. And then next door, these are all the sweet dumplings. So, having gathered all the harvest in now, I would say I'm not going to do Jack Be Little again. I was given the seeds last year. I thought, oh, I'll give them a go. I mean, they're cute. They're cute as pie. They are edible. But, you know, it's just not worth it for a little squash like that. I mean, you would hardly count them. I have done a count up, and I am going to count them, because if I say that is one and the Rouge Vif de Tombe is one, you'll see what I mean. I think it's fair enough to call them each one. But yeah, won't grow those again. Too little. Won't grow Delicata again. They're too temperamental. You know, I think sow 10 seeds and maybe get 2 plants to fruition for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fruits from 2 plants. Not worth it. The sweet dumpling, well, interestingly, the larger ones, I think there were 6 in the end, that were in the, you know, the spares bed. So yeah, that had 6. That was 1 plant produced 6. And then 3 plants in the climbing bed produced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it just goes to show, doesn't it? And it might give me a rethink. The thing about the vertical growing is they're so greedy. And the smaller ones obviously struggled compared with the one that had a whole square metre to itself. 1 plant, 6 fruits. Amazing. 1 plant, 1 fruit. So I think if I do vertical planting again, I'm going to just make sure that right through the season, I'm going to be feeding them with something right through the season. So I haven't grown sweet dumpling before. I haven't decided whether to grow them again because I haven't tasted them yet. Same with the black futsu. I like how they've come out. So if they taste good, they'll be on the list. Because it is really useful to have, let me show you this one, in terms of my hand size. That's a really useful size squash for one person. You can, that would either make a couple of portions of soup or one main meal. Great. It's nice to have a mix of everything though. Oh my goodness, you're so beautiful. You're also beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Gosh, the sun really is very low at this time of year. And also, where it is at the moment, it's about 10:30 in the morning, maybe 11. It's probably about 11. But where it is now, at the height of summer, that's 3 o'clock. Ah, yes, the days are... Ding, 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 ding. Anyway, I digress because I'm being sort of blinded a little bit still. So I counted them up. What was my guesstimate? 25. I think I was secretly hoping for more like 30. I've got 50. 50. One a week. And obviously something like the Rouge Vif and the Muscat, I won't eat a whole one in a week. So yeah, I reckon that's plenty to see me right through to next October, possibly even to Christmas 2022. Which is great because then, for some reason I have a really rubbish harvest next year. I mean, the squash take time to grow and you don't always know how good or bad the season is going to be until sort of August, September. But generally speaking, if the plants get sort of chewed to nothing by the sogs, I'm going to know that by sort of June, July. So it's the kind of instance where when I get to next summer, I look at how all the vines, next year's vines are doing, and if it looks like I'm going to be in trouble, I can start to ration this lot and just keep them. As I said, I've had my own squash sort of 14, 15 months after harvesting. So, brilliant. Happy bunny. Yay! The squash gods are shining on me this year. It's like I was saying a month or so ago, isn't it, that I was gutted to get blight in the tomatoes, really disappointed to have no carrots and no fennel, but you know what? That disappointment doesn't last long when another crop comes in that's just beautiful and glorious. Celebrate the wins, learn from the losses, move on. In terms of storage, so they're all quite muddy, partly from just my handling now, my gloves are getting muddy, and partly where they've been sort of sat on the floor. All I will do for storage is give them all a wipe over, get a bowl of water, I put 4 or 5 drops of tea tree oil in it, maybe 10 drops of tea tree oil, give that water a swoosh, wet rag, give them all a clean. The tea tree oil, it's just habit, it's an antimicrobial, just makes them nice and clean, and it's safe too. And also, in terms of the dispersing of the oil in the water, it's one of those that won't irritate my skin if it gets on my skin. Anyway, so they'll all get a bit of a wipe, bit of a clean over, and that's it. Store somewhere frost free. So to begin with, these most of them are going to go in the shed. I can't get this lot home in one go. I mean, you saw that barrow for it really weighs a lot. So they'll all go into the shed. I'll take some home today, and then literally now, every time I come to the garden, I fill up the granny trolley and take a few more home. When I get them home, it's like a case of stash them wherever I can. Quite often on the landing outside my flat, the front door of my flat, where it stays really cool, but it's frost free, rather than in the flat where obviously I have central heating, but to be honest, I'm going to be keeping that off for a while. Once they do come into the flat, they usually end up underneath my bed. I've got a big old bed, so there's a big gap underneath it. Under the bed, back of the wardrobe, a basket under the eaves in the kitchen. It's literally anywhere I can stash them. I did find one when was it? I can't remember now. May or June time. I thought I'd had the last of last year's, and I was looking in the back of my wardrobe for something, and I found a squash. Yay! All right, my lovelies, I'm going to leave it there. One of my friends has just turned up, so I'd like to see her. So I'll say cheerio to you all for now and start scrubbing my pumpkins and squash. Bye for now, everyone. Take care.